You are already trying to set boundaries, and here's why they keep falling apart. They are not sticking. And the one shift, or exactly five shifts, that makes them stick. Hello, welcome back. I'm Mira. I'm an executive coach for burnout leaders. This is Power Without Pressure, the weekly live series for high performing executives who already are ready to work less, to feel better, and actually be present when they get home. I'm a former Big Four auditor turned into an executive coach, and before I help anyone else to set boundaries, I lived inside the exact same cycle. They're in, overworked, overextended, and somehow always saying yes to things that I didn't want to do. And today I want to talk about something almost every high performer, every executive, every leader I work with is already trying, and most of them are getting it slightly wrong. Not because they are not smart, because nobody told them the part that actually matters. We are talking about setting boundaries at work, specifically why yours are not sticking with you, why yours are keep collapsing. And here's what I see constantly in my clients, in the DMs I'm having. Someone decides they're going to start protecting their time, and they block the calendar, they practice saying no in the mirror, and they tell their team, I'm not available after 5 p.m., after 6 p.m. And it works for about a week, about 4 days, 5 days. And then the manager sends them a message after 7 p.m. And the quick question comes in on the weekends, and a project lands in with a deadline that makes all their boundaries feel impossible to hold, and they fold again and again, and it starts the same starts cycle starts again the week after. So they end up questioning themselves, and they end up with the stories. And the story, what I always hear in high performers is, I'm just not good at this, I don't have the discipline for this, maybe limits aren't realistic for someone in my role. And that story is wrong. And this story is costing you more than just time. And here's what actually happening. You're treating your boundaries like scheduling decision when they're actually an identity decision. You're asking, how do I block this time? But the question underneath that is, the one your nervous system is answering for you is, am I the kind of person who's allowed to stop? And if the answer to that question is no, if part of you still believes that your value at work depends on how available you are, then no calendar block, no calendar in this world is going to hold that boundaries, and that boundaries is not able to stick. The schedule changes, the identity doesn't, and the identity always wins. This is why high performers struggle with more than that anyone else. And you got where you are by giving more. You got where you are by being always available, by believing that if you're always available, then you are the committed one. Then you are the one who will succeed. Then you are the one who always be there. And you think if you're always there, that means you are successful. That means you are the committed one. You are the one who is going to move faster. But it's actually the opposite. The opposite is happening because you're showing them that you are constantly available and you are easy to stretch, that you are safe to stretch for them. And this is why high performers struggle with this more than anyone else. You got where you are by giving more, by staying longer, by answering faster, by solving problems other people couldn't. And that worked for a while. And now your brain thinks that stopping is a threat because you're not used to stop, and it feels dangerous. And you are not failing at setting boundaries. You're just succeeding at the very old program you're currently running, and that no longer serves you, and you're feeling it. Something feels off. You're feeling like this is not me, but if you're if you are if you are setting boundaries, this also feels like something new, because it's unfamiliar, because you're not used to speak up for yourself, you're not used to set boundaries for yourself. And I want to give you in today's life 5 shifts that helps actually you to start setting boundaries, and it feels easy for you to start setting boundaries, and actually talk about what kind of shifts you need and what is actually keeping you stuck right now to even start with boundaries. And the first one is, stop setting boundaries from your calendar, start setting boundaries from your energy, for your energy, for your from your capacity, what is actually left for you to set them. And a blocked calendar means nothing if you're mentally at work anyway. The real boundary is where your attention goes, not where your mouse clicks. Ask yourself, do I think about work when I'm not working? That's the actual boundary limit that is missing. Secondly, you are not doing this wrong. You were never thought the right thing. Most of us were thought that good workers are always available, and that dedication looks like never switching off. And that's the stories your workplace told you. That is not a fact. When you say no, you are not being difficult. You actually are considering the first time yourself. You're actually considering if you have the capacity for it. You're actually considering your energy, if there's any energy left for yourself. And you are updating an old operating system, your old pattern, your old way of behaving, your old way of operating. And the next one is the guilt you feel when you stop. The guilt when the feel when you are setting a boundary or when you're resting. That's the signal that is not a problem. Sorry. High performers, they feel guilty when they rest. They feel like they are forgetting something. Excuse me. And they feel like they should be doing more. And that guilt, when you start setting boundaries, that doesn't mean you did something wrong. It actually means you're changing something real. You don't push through, you get curious about it. And that guilt that shows up the moment you set a boundary or the moment you start setting boundaries, it's actually a good feeling. It means that it is something unfamiliar and you are starting to doing something new. And the way you're operating currently, it is not helping you. That's why you feel that guilt, because you are trying to do something new. And it doesn't mean that it's bad if you feel the guilt. It does mean actually something good, because you are trying to set a boundary and you're trying to do something new and you're creating something new, a new pattern, a new habit. And it will feel unfamiliar and it will create that feeling of guilt. You have to see it in a new perspective, that guilt is nothing bad. It is just for you to for you to see actually that you're building something new for yourself, and that you're building a new identity, that you are actually considering yourself before you are saying yes on default, or before you're saying yes automatically. The next shift is, what I want you to know is, a limit that a limit or a boundary that needs explanation is a boundary that will not hold, that will not stick. The moment you start over explaining or over or looking for permission in order for you to feel that it is a boundary, that boundary will not hold, that boundary will not stick. And the moment you start over explaining why you are not available, you are asking for permission. You don't need permission to stop working at 6 p.m., to stop working at a time you want to stop. You don't need to justify a lunch break. Say it once, say it calmly, say it and move on. Over explaining signals uncertainty, and clarity signals confidence. Clarity signals that you have standards for yourself. You don't over you don't put yourself under something else, under your work, under others' validation. You put yourself always above everything else. And when you are communicating your boundaries with clarity and with confidence, then it will come true with clarity and confidence. And when you start over explaining your boundary, then you're asking for permission, and it will signal uncertainty. So whenever you set a boundary, say it calmly, say it once, and then move on. That is the one shift that I always that I wanted to give you. And the last shift is, doing this well looks boring. Doing setting boundaries and doing it well, it will look boring, and that is the point. You know, when you are setting boundaries and you're doing it with confidence and calmly, then it will be boring. And you will know what a well held boundary looks like in practice is not nothing dramatic happens. You stop at 5 p.m. You eat your dinner with your family without checking your phone. You don't check Slack on weekends or after 9 p.m. when you are about to go to sleep. And your Monday morning, you will feel a difference. You are clear headed and actually ready to work. And there is no confrontation, there is no escalation, there is no crisis, and there's no hero moment. Just a normal life. That is the goal, sustainable and boring, and that is good. Boring is good. When you know you are good at setting boundaries, then you know it's getting boring. Boring is good, and that's the point. And here is what I want you to take away from today. You are probably already doing the actions, setting boundaries, blocking time, saying no more often, trying to protect your evenings. That is good. That is not the problem. That is not the challenge. The gap is what you believe underneath those actions, underneath those habits that you are trying to incorporate. If part of you still believes you have to earn rest or you have to earn the right time to pause, those boundaries will collapse, not because you're weak, but you haven't updated the belief that's running the show, that's running your action, that's running underneath what you are currently doing, the habits. And the correction is small. One question to ask yourself before you say yes on default, before you are saying yes automatically to anything, ask yourself, am I saying yes because I want to, or am I saying yes because I'm afraid of what happens if I don't say yes? And that one question is where the change will happen, where you are starting questioning what you're currently doing. I want you to create that awareness. I want you to create that space between the pause. When you are currently saying yes on default and you are seeing it right now, I want you to, whenever you want to say yes, on default, I want you to pause and ask yourself, am I saying yes because I want to, or am I saying yes because I'm afraid what happens if I don't? And if what I shared today resonates with you, I want you to know this. There's a next step available to you. My one on one program, the Realign Method, helps high performing executives save 10 hours a week, set better boundaries that actually stick, and create more time for your family, for your health, and especially for yourself without feeling the guilt, without feeling like you're failing behind at work, or without feeling like you're falling behind at work, and without feeling like you're failing. And what we build together isn't a new schedule, it is a new relationship. It is a new relationship with your time. It is a new relationship with your energy, with your capacity, and what you believe you deserve to protect it. Every week you wait, the pattern just continues, the workload just grows, the guilt gets just heavier, and you're building resentment towards yourself and towards work, towards the people at your work, be- even if you don't want it. And the cycle of overcommitting keeps running the show. I've seen it and I lived it, and I know it doesn't have to stay that way. You can change. You are allowed to change, and change will happen when you decide that it is the right time now. There will be no perfect time to start. The perfect time, it is what you create. And if you're ready to figure out where the regap is for you, there is a way. DM me reset, and I will send you the link to book a call with me right now. And we will look at the gaps, where your gaps are, and create a simple plan for you towards change, where it's easier for you to set better boundaries and look at ways where you can reduce 10 hours a week to create time for yourself, for your health, and for your family. Thank you for watching this live, and I will see you in the next live.